The KwaZulu-Natal-Health MEC is urging law enforcement authorities to open criminal cases against anyone who engages in sexual activities with a minor. This comes after two 16-year-old girls gave birth on Christmas Day. It was also revealed today that a majority of women giving birth are unvaccinated. For more on the briefing, we're joined by Karinda Jagmohan to unpack some of the statistics we're hearing about COVID-19 and KZN, as well as the discussion on teenage pregnancy. Karinda, Merry Christmas and good afternoon to you. Certainly not a good afternoon. Two teenagers giving birth on this Christmas Day. I imagine that was one of the topical points in that discussion earlier on.
Indeed, that was. We have been given some of the numbers of women who've given birth on the day of Christmas. And of these numbers, 45 women by 8 o'clock this morning who gave birth to their Christmas bundles of joy. Sadly, we learned that 3 of these women were underage. There were 2 16-year-old mothers and 1 17-year-old mother, which means that these young girls had engaged in sexual activity at 16 years old and 15 years old. The KZN Health MEC reminding the public that sexual activities with a minor is illegal and does not amount to consent, speaking to the point of statutory rape, which actually dwelled on and then urged law enforcement authorities, urged citizens to report these cases to the police, to the relevant authorities around you, even if it is social development agency authorities, to assist young girls with taking the next step to protect themselves. She explains that a young child is not her body is not able to, and of course her mind would not be able to actually be ready for to give birth and to have a child, but also that a young person under the age of 18 cannot give consent to sexual intercourse, to sexual activities. These are just some reminders as we see these numbers. And of course, this is only a report on today, Christmas Day, but we know that such reports, such incidents occur throughout the year. We know that in South Africa we have a high rate of teenage pregnancy and an alarming number really of rapes that occur, as well as rape of those that are minor statutory rape. So these numbers announced today, warnings announced today in the importance of family planning. If one does over the age of 18 want to actually start a family, just the MEC also giving some words to ensure that you are able to take care of your child at this point. But what is also interesting is going forward, we've got COVID-19 numbers. The Health MEC announcing as well, or the Health Department announcing that of the 26 women who gave birth today on Christmas Day in eThekwini, only 2 of the mothers were vaccinated. We're seeing a high rate of unvaccinated mothers. She explains that some of the reports are that, women who are pregnant fear taking the vaccine at this point because they don't know what impact this will have on their bodies, but just giving a reminder that the tests, the trials have been done, and essentially if you are pregnant, you are able to take this vaccine at a certain time of your pregnancy, and this is important because we understand that there are also 2 mothers in eThekwini that are in isolation with COVID-19 and are of course going to have to stay in isolation or stay in quarantine at this time before they're even able to meet their newborn. So this is also some of the issues. Now, KwaZulu-Natal still experiencing high COVID-19 numbers, and we hear from the department that these numbers are seemingly not stabilizing yet. So it's actually unclear whether we've reached our peak in terms of the Omicron 4th wave of COVID-19, and just then urging citizens, those who are out gathering at this point, to avoid crowded areas, to continue wearing masks and practice the precautions around COVID-19.
Karinda, the MSC calling on the SAPS or certainly the police authority to arrest those individuals that have engaged in sex with these minors. Has there been a call or certainly some form of a conversation with the health personnel for them to alert the authorities once they start attending prenatal to these would-be mothers and as soon as they discover that they're minors?
Absolutely. These calls have been made previously by the health department itself with messages to ensure that healthcare workers, when they do receive patients who are young girls under the age of 18 that are pregnant, to immediately report to law enforcement authorities. Now, in many cases, this may not happen. The teenager may feel, worried or scared to actually report this. But we have heard the health department, warning health authorities that it is, of course, protocol to alert the law enforcement agencies about this. Remember that a criminal case needs to be opened essentially against a perpetrator of statutory rape, because it is illegal for a minor to engage in any type of sexual activity, even though they may have given consent at that point. Because they are a minor, there is no basis of consent, because that is an illegal activity. But also then a warning to older men of society given today in this health briefing, just to ensure that they do not take advantage of vulnerable teenagers at this point. Some of the details of the briefing were that many of the young girls were in vulnerable positions, that did not know any better, or did not know the rights that they would have as a young person, as a teenager, as a person under the age of 18 years old. So also then a message to social development departments and to the public at large to ensure that they protect women. As we have seen over the past years, gender-based violence is something that has only been on the rise, and it is something that is a message that has been passed on for all sectors of society, whether this be government agencies, counselors, teachers, members of the public, to be at the forefront of protecting young women and children against any type of violence that are occurring in our society.
Our reporter Karinda Jagmohan, thank you for your time, giving us a briefing on KZN Health MEC's briefing from earlier on today.